Are we live now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It sounds like you're speaking another language. You're whispering. Okay. So we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur described as the greatest theological literature which has ever seen the light of day. And we are very, very privileged. We should not take it for granted that we have this book, actually. That it has come from the heart of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, based on the notebooks of Raghunath Das Goswami, and that it was in more recent times, brought to light by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because the book was in obscurity, actually. Maybe there were one or two copies in some dusty corner somewhere, but it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who brought the book back to light and wrote commentaries on it and put it back into circulation, published it again. And now we have it, this wonderful, like you have, like somebody hands you some wonderful little cream cake, and you're just swallowing it, but you're not seeing behind the scenes, how Radharani Devidasi has worked so hard in the kitchen, preparing that cake. How all the devotees have put so much energy. We're just looking at this beautiful cream cake and we're swallowing it. But so much has come behind it. So we have this wonderful, wonderful text, la crème de la crème. Chaitanya Charitamrita really is like a cream cake. Cream cake is a very appropriate analogy, I think, if I dare say so myself. Because it is the cream of the cream of the cream of the whole of the Vedic, knowledge. We were on Saturday, the topic was the fruit of the Veda. So the idea being that Srimad Bhagavatam, and this idea is given by Bhagavatam itself. Bhagavatam is the essence of all of the Vedic knowledge. But actually, further distilled essence is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because still Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is mixing some other types of knowledge are there. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, everything is fully essential, everything is pertaining to the culture of pure bhakti, pure Krishna prema, and nothing else. Everything is directly pertaining to that. So it is the sweetest of the sweet, it is the cream of the cream, it is the essence of the essence. It is so perfect in every way. And that perfection is expressed in this, this high ontological conception is presented in this very poetic and very beautiful way. Both sides are here, the highest type of knowledge, highest siddhanta, and in this very charming, sweet, and beautiful way. And these, so we're in the Adi Leela here, and this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Adi Leela, a good part of it. It's a little tough going. In Australia, in the home of some of the devotees there, Murari and Prabhu and Indumati Didi, they're going through Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they're in the section. I think it's chapter 5 of the Adi Leela, the glories of Nityananda Ram. And it's a little heavy going, because there's lots of technical information there, on all the expansions of Nityananda, Balaram. So, but the idea is that the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's like the groundwork's being laid, like the Siddhantic groundwork. The ontological nature of Mahaprabhu and his associates, they are being established. So it's like establishing the dignity and the scientific basis behind all the sweetness and the beauty that we find in the Leela. So, really, like, what is Chaitanya Leela? what is the nature of Nityananda Prabhu, all of the associates of Mahaprabhu, the nature of Gaura Leela. It's all dealing with sweetness. Actually, the word Gauda, Mahaprabhu appears in the area of India which is known as Gauda Desh. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains that word Gauda, its root is gur. This, this sugar that comes from sugar cane, right? So it's the land of sweetness, and they're dealing in sweetness, and there's like there's rasa to the highest degree. There's heart pain, there's tears of love, tears of heartbreak. There's lots of embraces. There's all these like intense exchanges going on. Mahaprabhu's fainting in ecstasy here, fainting in ecstasy there. Nityananda's fainting in ecstasy. Everyone's dancing in ecstasy, crying in ecstasy. Like this is going on all the time. These kind of exchanges between Mahaprabhu and his associates. So with an untrained eye, with an ignorant eye, one just sees some. And that's how many people would see it, in India. This is just some sentimentalism going on, But here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the beginning, Kaviraj Goswami is in this very, systematic way, in this very scientific way, this very philosophical way, he's establishing the basis for all of this. So this is the framework, this is the foundation on which all of this sweetness is taking place. It's not just something whimsical, not something whimsical, but it is something very solid. And so these early chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Adi Leela, they are mostly dealing with that, or to a large degree. And then in particular, we can add that now we've come to the third chapter. In the very first chapter, the first 14 verses, they are establishing what is the nature of Mahaprabhu and his principal associates. What is the ontological nature of Mahaprabhu and his principal associates? So the first 14 verses. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj described these verses as the steel frame of Chaitanya Charitamrita. They are the steel frame. They're like they're like everything I just said. They're the framework, the foundation, the scientific basis behind everything that's taking place. It's like sometimes the way I think of it is like if you have a house, right? Then there's walls and there's floors and there's all the the plumbing and all you know a lot about that, right? You're a builder. So there's all of this stuff going on. But what is the principal thing about the house? What is the main point of this house? It's to facilitate loving exchange, right? So in the same way, like this kind of detail is giving the framework, the foundation to what's going on. But the essence of what's going on is these loving exchanges between the people who live there. So I think also of the approach of the, going off topic a little bit, but the approach of the jnanis, right? The person's really focused on the knowledge approach, knowledge-seeking approach. They're analyzing the structure of the building. They want to know how the plumbing works. They want to know what type of paint you used here, and what these curtains are, and how the lights are working, and all, they're wasting their time actually, with all these boring details. But the real essence is this exchange of love, So why get lost in all the details of the universe when this is the essence, that when we can taste that sweetness. But, not that doesn't have its place, that is also helps, that is also supporting our faith. And that's why Kaviraj Goswami is giving this type of detailed knowledge. It's to support the development of faith, and it's also establishing the dignity of what Chaitanya Lila is. It's not some sentimental thing. So it also has its place. Okay, so as I said, these first 14 verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, they're like the introductory verses. And then in the following 12 chapters or so, then Kaviraj Goswami is one by one elaborating on each of these 14 verses. And so now in this third chapter, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is dealing with the fourth verse. And this verse is describing the external reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance within this world. So the fourth, fifth, and sixth verse, they are dealing with the Mahaprabhu's internal nature and the reasons for his descent to this world. And so those are given as two principal reasons: external reason and internal reason, or his public duty, what he came to do for the benefit of the world, and his internal desire for descending. So his public duty or his external reason for appearing is to spread the holy name, to give Krishna prem to all souls. And then, as we know, his internal reason for descending is to taste that mood of Srimati Radharani. What is it that she's getting in her loving exchanges with me? And so he took her, Radha Bhava Duti Solitam Naumi Krishna Srupam, taking that Bhav and Kanti, that heart and halo of Radharani, he appeared in order to experience her position. So here in the third chapter, the fourth verse, describing the external reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance, that is being discussed. Are you comfortable, Didi? Are you comfortable? Okay. We don't want you injuring yourself. You can sit in a chair if you need to. Okay. So, and we can also chant that verse. The fourth verse again. It's a very beautiful verse. This is, famous verse. And these, in particular, these three verses, the fourth, fifth, and sixth verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, of the first chapter, they're, important verses. And verses that, if we can't memorize them, at least be familiar with them. Because they are describing these 2 points, Mahaprabhu's reasons for descending, external, internal, and his internal nature as the combined form of Radha Krishna. And Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, many times they're quoting these verses, these three in particular. Okay, so this is that verse again. Anarpita chirim chirat karunaya vitirna kalo samarpayitam anutojvalarasam swabhakti shriyam hari purita sundara duti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratu vashachi nandana. Very beautiful verse. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Ch.Ch. Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart. So this is Kaviraj Goswami's, and this is originally a verse by Rupa Goswami. And Kaviraj Goswami is presenting it in his introduction. And so this is Kaviraj Goswami's benediction upon his audience. Everyone who's coming to hear Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is his benediction to them. May the Supreme Lord, which is so wonderful, may the Supreme Lord, who is known, I was so happy a couple years ago in Navadvip. It was Gaur Purnima time, and I was riding through the town, Pormatal, in a rickshaw, And it's Gaur Purnima, so everyone, it was like maybe the day before Gaur Purnima, and so everyone's in the spirit of Gaur Purnima, and there's different functions going on, and preparations for the next day, and decorations being put up, and so on my rickshaw I rode past one just some like small little back street actually, but there was some type of function going on in like somebody's courtyard, and somebody was chanting. I don't know if they were going through Chaitanya Charitamrita or they were just quoting this verse, but I was so happy I heard someone on a microphone chanting this verse, in this very like grand way, Anarbita Janim Chirat Karunaya Vatirna Kalo. Very beautiful. And I was so happy. I was thinking, like, where else in the world, but in Navadvip? There's a random back street, and somebody's chanting this wonderful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I was thinking how, like we understand we can't really see the Dham, and we don't have the eyes to see the Dham. But at the same time, just being in that, like in the vicinity of the Dham to some extent, there's so many reminders, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he approached it in that way once. He was saying, like, here in Navadvip, there are so many things to remind us of the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And he said, like banana trees. like it was like so simple, And he's like this Paramahamsa Vaishnav, and of course he can actually see the Dham, but he's like presenting himself like he can't really see. But I'm being reminded by the banana trees. It's so sweet. And you also understand where he's living, everything in the environment is pointing to that for him. If I look at a banana tree, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking about bananas. But he's remembering the pastimes of Mahaprabhu when he sees. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Ch.Ch. Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your hearts. Wow, this is like so powerful what he's saying here. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Ch.Ch. Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He is descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. And so then, in these following verses, I think in this whole chapter, Kaviraj Goswami is elaborating on this verse. And so on this point, he came to give what has never been given before, like emphasizing how rare this is, because normally it's the Vishnu avatar who's coming in the form of Mahaprabhu. But that Swayam Bhagavan, that original Krishna of Vrindavan, with the heart and halo of Radharani, Srimati Radharani herself, that's extremely rare. So then that's being explained here. All these numbers. Sorry, what did you say? What did you say? What about Advaita Acharya?
That's Vishnu. Right?
Yeah.
So, in a way, he came anyway, right?
In a way.
He came anyway, even though.
Sure, yeah, he's there too, yeah. Yeah, he is. But Mahaprabhu is not an expansion as he normally is. Yeah. Although some vision of Advaita Acharya is as Sada Shiva. Vrindavanas Thakur sees things in that way. He describes him as Shiva. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj points out, Sadashiva and Mahavishnu, they're very close actually. Their function is very close. So, don't need to get, lot pedantic over the details there. But yes, Mahavishnu, he is there we can say in the form of, that is Kaviraj Goswami's vision. Advaita Acharya, Mahavishnu is appearing as Advaita Acharya. And also, we can say that within the original form of Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, all expansions are contained. So all the Vishnu avatars, they're all within that form of the original Krishna. Okay, so then yesterday we went to these verses describing these technical, numerical details, each of the 4 ages. One cycle of the 4 ages equals 1 Divya Yuga. 71 Divya Yugas constitute 1 Manvantar, 14 Manvantars and 1 day of Brahma. And in just one of those Divya Yugas, that Swayam Bhagavan Krishna appears. So 71 times 14. Anyway, but it's also mentioned, 1 day and night of Brahma is 8.6 billion years, and there are 71 times 14 Divya cycles in that period, and in just one of those, that Swayam Bhagavan appears. So it is an extremely rare thing. And, we are here in that, little slot, I mean, to us it seems like a lot, 1 Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. Wow, that's such a huge number. But in the big scale of things, it's like a blink of the eye, actually. So in that little blink of the eye, we're here in that time, Okay. And then where we had come to was, and this is very nice. Mahaprabhu here, Kaviraj Goswami compares him to a lion. And because in that verse it's saying, may he be situated within your heart. And so then Kaviraj Goswami is saying, the lion like Lord Chaitanya, may that lion be seated in, what is the significance of his appearing within the heart? That he's like a lion who with his resounding roar may drive away all of one's elephantine vices. So in the way that elephants will be afraid of a lion. So if that lion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is roaring in our hearts, then all of our anarthas, all of our bad qualities, like elephants, they'll be chased away. They will run away in fear. And here Kaviraj Goswami is also, which is pretty amazing. He's expressing here what Krishna's thoughts were, in deciding to come. And so Krishna's saying that, where is that line? That it's been a long time since I spread prema bhakti. And saying that I'm not attracted by awe and reverence. I'm not attracted by people worshiping me in this very reverential, very respectful mood, or very, scriptural, taking a very scriptural approach. It doesn't attract me, and this is boring for me. So I need to come to spread prema bhakti. Okay. And then we're coming to some verses describing, with citations from the scriptures, describing the Kali Yuga avatar as being the distributor of kirtan, of Sankirtan. This verse is very nice. This is from the Mahabharata. You find evidence. Mahaprabhu, he's a hidden incarnation. He's a hidden avatar. But you do find, evidence at the same time in the scriptures for his appearance, even in the Mahabharata. This is a really nice verse. It appears in the Vishnu Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Vishnu in the Mahabharata. I'll just read that. Suvarna Varno Hemango Varangas Chandanangadi Sanyasa Krikshamashanto Nishta Shanti Parayana. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body, smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, seems like molten gold. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order. See, it explicitly says here, like in the Mahabharata, he will take sannyas, He accepts the sannyas order, and he is equipoised and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, for he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. And then the verse we came to, this is a famous verse of Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, when the Kali Yuga avatar is being described. And this is another one of those verses which is good for everybody to be familiar with, no doubt you are. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangashtra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So this is a really nice verse, and there's a number of double meanings here. And the Kaviraj Goswami, he discusses those in these following verses. This Krishna Varnam, so Krishna means Krishna, right? Lord Krishna. But Krishna also means black. And the word Varna, it can mean a color, but it can also mean refer to like speaking or describing something. So in one way, Krishna Varnam can mean he's always talking about Krishna. He's always describing the characteristics of Krishna. Or it can mean he has a blackish color. And then the next line is saying Tvisha Krishnam. Tvisha means like luster, color. And then Krishna. So then Krishna means, if Krishna means black, if one meaning of Krishna is black, then Krishna means not black. So then it's saying from one reading, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam, he's black but he's not black. So where does that lead you to? That leads you to the combined form of Shri Radha Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna within, covered by the non-black luster. And that brings us to golden, because that is described elsewhere in Bhagavatam, that he appears in a golden form. And then Sango Pangashtra Parshadam, he appears with his associates, with his weapons, with his servitors. And this point of weapons, because you can ask, like, Mahaprabhu doesn't have any weapons. And so Srila Jiva Goswami, he explains that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's weapon is his beauty. He conquers people with his beauty, with his charm, with his affection. And Srila Gurudev, he discussed this point once, and we were in Navadvip, and he said that Mahaprabhu was always on the battlefield, but with humility, tolerance, and respect. You know, he wasn't coming with a club, wasn't coming with a bow and arrow, with the Sudarshan chakra. He was conquering people with this type of mood, with this sweet mood. And there's a number of examples of that. Like a classic example is the Prakashananda Saraswati, when Mahaprabhu is in Varanasi, and Mahaprabhu is invited. Well, one of the few, like you can count on the fingers of one hand how many Vaishnavas are there, and so one of them organizes this gathering of sannyasis to give some opportunity for Mahaprabhu to conquer all of these proud, impersonalist sannyasis. And so Mahaprabhu enters, and all these like very proud sannyasis are there, and they're seated on their like high platforms. And then Mahaprabhu goes and sits in the dirtiest spot in the room, right? Where the place where everyone washes their feet, And so they're all like on the defensive because they don't like what Mahaprabhu's doing. They've seen him in the street with his, as we were discussing before, his sentimental antics. They're not impressed. This is not the proper behavior of a sannyasi. A sannyasi is supposed to be extremely sober. A sannyasi is supposed to be studying the Vedanta. A sannyasi should not be smiling. A sannyasi should not be having a good time. A sannyasi should not be singing and dancing in public. What is this? So they're already they're on the defensive about Mahaprabhu. They're not in a welcoming mood. But when Mahaprabhu does this, he totally disarms them. Then they're totally charmed. Their heart is moved, and they feel embarrassed. He's a sannyasi, and he's sitting in this, and they know too, he comes from a high lineage, and he was Nimai Pandit. It's not like they don't know, he has quality. He was the great Nimai Pandit, who was famous because of the persons that he conquered. He was invited far and wide to give classes as Nimai Pandit. So he was known as this great scholar. So they know he's somebody, and he's a sannyasi, and now he's seated in this very dirty place, so they naturally feel bad, So in this very clever and charming way, Mahaprabhu conquers them, And then first they're oh, please come and sit here, and then gradually, slowly they get into some discussion, and then they get down to the philosophy, and then Mahaprabhu defeats them. But he doesn't come in this hard way, in the straight way, direct way. He comes in this hidden, charming way, through his beauty, through his charm. He's defeating them. So that is his weapon. And Yagyai Sankirtana Pyar Yajantihi Sumedasa. This, how will he be worshipped, this great avatar? Through the process of kirtan. Those who are Sumedasa, those who have some refined intellect, refined theistic intellect, they will understand this, they will appreciate this. Okay, so we'll continue a little bit from here. So Nityananda Prabhu was following in Russian, right? So we're in verse 53 now. Shunobaye sab Chaitanya Mahima, Shloke Kohitar Mahima Arsima. My dear brothers, please hear all these glories of Lord Chaitanya. This verse clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics. Krishna Duivarna Sadajar Mukhe
Atava Krishna Ketiho Varnani Jasuke.
The two syllables, Krishna, are always in his mouth, or he constantly describes Krishna with great pleasure.
Krishna Varna Shabdartha Duito Praman Krishna Vino Tarmuke Nahi Aisayam.
These are two meanings of the word Krishna Varna. Indeed, nothing else but Krishna issues from his mouth.
Kehotare Bole Jari Krishna Varan Arvisha Shanetar Koreni Varam.
If someone tries to describe him as being of blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tvisha Krishnam, immediately restricts him.
Deho Kanche Hoiti Teho Akrishna Varan Akrishna Varane Kohe Pita Varam.
His complexion is certainly not blackish. Indeed, his not being blackish indicates that his complexion is yellow. And now we have a citation from the Dvitiya Sri Chaitanyashtak of Srila Rupa Goswami. Kaloyam vidvam sa sputam abhiyajante duti bhadad akrishnangam krishnam maka vidibir utkirtana mayai upasyam cha prahoryam akila chaturta shama jusham sa devas chaitanya kritir atitanam na vipayatu. By performing the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name, learned scholars in the age of Kali worship Lord Krishna, who is now non-blackish because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. He is the only worshipable deity for the Paramahamsas, who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order, sannyas. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, show us his great causeless mercy.
Pratyaksha tahar tapta kanchanera duti jahar chatai nashe agyantamastati.
One can vividly see his glowing complexion of molten gold, which dispels the darkness of ignorance.
Jiver kalmashtamo nasha kori bhare anga upanganam nanaschadore.
The sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. To destroy that ignorance, he has brought various weapons, such as his plenary associates, his devotees, and the holy name.
Bhaktir vidodi karma dharma va dharma tahar kalmashanam se mahatama.
The greatest ignorance consists of activities, whether religious or irreligious, that are opposed to devotional service. They are to be known as sins, kalmash.
Bahutuli hari boli prema drishte chai kodiya kalmashanash premete basai.
Raising his arms, chanting the holy name, and looking upon all with deep love, he drives away all sins and floods everyone with love of Godhead. So beautiful. Raising his arms, chanting the holy name, and looking upon all with deep love, he drives away all sins and floods everyone with love of Godhead. There's one verse that Srila Sridhar Maharaj, or some song or something, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he quotes in one place, and he's saying, it's saying like, it's very like this, it's very poignant, very heart-touching, and saying like, it's like a lamentation and separation from Mahaprabhu, saying, now that Mahaprabhu is gone, who will do this? Like, who will look upon the conditioned souls of this world with this mood of love and compassion to try to help them? Like, now that he's gone, like, who's going to do that? Sometimes I feel that about Srila Gurudev, Like he cared about us all so much, now that he's not here. Raising his arms, chanting the holy name, and looking upon all with deep love, he drives away all sins and floods everyone with love of Godhead. And now there's another verse citation from Rupa Goswami. Smita loka shokam harati jagatam yasya padito giram tu paramba kushala patalam palavayati padalamba kamva pranayati nahi prema nivaham sadevas chaitanya kritir atitaram na kripayatu. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya bestow his causeless mercy upon us. His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the world, and his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love of God at once. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya bestow his causeless mercy upon us. His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the world, and his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love of God at once. Shriyanga Shimuk Jai Kore Darashan Tar Papa Koi Hoi Pai Premadam. Anyone who looks upon his beautiful body or beautiful face becomes freed from all sins and obtains the wealth of love of Godhead. Anyone who just looks upon his beautiful face or beautiful body becomes freed from all sins and obtains the wealth of love of Godhead. Such is the potency. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyavatare sab sainya shastra sange Chaitanya Krishna sainyanga upange. In other incarnations, the Lord descended with armies and weapons. But in this incarnation, his soldiers are his plenary parts and associates. And now this next verse is also from Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami, he wrote 2 Chaitanyashtak. Ashtak means 8. So Chaitanyashtak means like 8 verses about Lord Chaitanya. So Rupa Goswami wrote 2 of them. 2 Chaitanyastaks. And so we just heard 2 citations from the second one. And now this is a citation from the first one. And this one, the Pratam Sri Chaitanyashtak, this is more well known. And Gurudev would quote these, verses. Gurudev had them all memorized. He would just chant them. And they're very beautiful. So this is the first of these 8 verses. Saro pasya shrimandrita manuja kayai pranayitam vahadbir girivaner girisha parameshti prabriti bi swabhakte vyashudam nija bajram mudram upadisham sa chaitanya kim me punar apijashur yasyati padam. And the refrain of these verses is very beautiful. Sa Chaitanya kimme punar apijashur yasyati padam. This is the last line of each of the verses, and it's saying, like, when will he again appear before me? When will he appear in my vision again? This expression in separation from Mahaprabhu. Will I see him again? Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always the most worshipable deity of the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who came in the garb of ordinary men, bearing love for him. He instructs his own pure devotional service to his own devotees. Will he again be the object of my vision? Angopangashtra kore swakaya sadan, anga shabde artado shunodiyaman, His plenary parts and associates perform the work of weapons as their own specific duties. Please hear from me another meaning of the word anga. Maybe we'll stop there for today. I think it's a good place to stop. Okay. Any comments or questions or anything? Or should we stop for today? Another day of Seva in Ch.Ch. Sama, West London. All of our great fortune to be here. Sudha Krishna, would you like to sing? Hari Hari Nama Krishna.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinacha Madana Mohana Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Tadadhara Shivasadi Gura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dupa Sanatan Vasara Gunata Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasara Gunata Chai Gosai Kodi Charana Bandana Jaha Hoite Vignana Vishta Purana Chai Gosai Jar Muitana Dasa Tansabada Pada Denura Panchagrasa Ajera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivasa Janame Janame Mohe Abhilasha Chai Gosai Jabe Naje Koilobasa Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Gunila Prakasha Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Jaya Mana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kodi Asha Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kodi Asha Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Naruttama Dasa
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vishakha Muraya Ashtotar Tashi Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindya Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai Shri Rupanuga Guruvarga Ki Jai Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Sapurushan Srimad Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Vinya Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shama Kanada Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Ki Jai Vishnu Yapi Tade Shakaman Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat London Chapter Ki Jai Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Jai Gaur Vrinda